Hi, my name is Professor David Parent, and I would like to give a flipped classroom overview of my blocks of instruction for the Pakistani program. So I developed 6 blocks of instruction on the theory of the classroom, and this is kind of being in the cool mountain air, and everything is crisp and calm, and it all makes sense. The blocks I made up were an overview. I have a case study which shows the good, the bad, and the ugly of instruction in general and flipped classroom in particular. I have tools of the trade. I have an example of how I create tutorials using open source tools. And then a module on creating open-ended assignments. And then summing it up with trying to assess creativity. Now, this cool mountain air, I developed all of this before I tried to apply it. And I tried to apply it in EE98 this summer, and it was the first time I offered the course, and it was the first time I ever taught a 5-week course. And so went from the cool mountain air to up to my neck in alligators. It was worth it, but some things that I learned is that I had to learn to create content very quickly. I found that doing voiceover videos is a great way to find all the typos in your slides. But I also found out some students hate to watch videos. Sometimes it's good to present tutorials that you don't need a video to follow. And then when it really starts to get busy, you learn that sometimes you can't create all the content and you have to use publicly available content. In the end, my head is still spinning. Did I have open-ended assignments? Did I encourage creativity? I think so, in that we did some projects. I only had 9 students in the summer. I'll see if I can scale that to 80 in the fall. So, was the collaboration with MIT and Udacity an epic failure? So, in one of my modules, I do talk about this. And the thing is that in the particulars, it kind of, the MIT program, yes, I don't think it was as successful as is claimed in the media. People didn't do their research right, and it was very frustrating. But on the other hand, by trying out that collaboration, it really stirred the pot and allowed me to make some changes in EE98 for the better. Now, the thing about Udacity was that they were trying to have online education help with remedial students. And even though it's good to try things, that was shown in the research not to work. And recently the data came out and it didn't work. So the thing is there is this parable that I never liked, and it was about the farmer throwing the seeds. Some of the seeds go on the ground, some of the seeds go on rock, and some kind of go into a wet area. And based on where the seeds landed, they do well or don't do well. And I always felt that, why not put the seeds where they belong? Who's stupid enough to put things on a rock or in a swamp? The thing is a lot of times we don't know what's going to happen, and so you need to try it. And so the thing with the MIT is, yeah, there was research that showed that online education was not going to work, so we did it flipped classroom, and it certainly was no worse than doing it the old way. But really the great thing about it was it stirred the pot and allowed me to update the course sooner than I thought. I didn't have to wait for somebody to retire. Let's put it that way. But the Udacity thing, with so much research out there, it was as if the farmer was throwing the seed right on the rock, and it didn't sprout. And yes, research is important, and doing something that's proven not to work is not smart. Then I have another block on open source tools, and they're great. I use them in my teaching, and here's a slide of my research. And Um, I don't. It's not just not having to pay for it. It's just they also seem to be more stable with MATLAB and courses like um, AutoCAD for drafting and SolidWorks for drafting. They and LabVIEW for controlling hardware. They do an update every year, and then your code isn't compatible anymore. The open source model, certainly for in teaching, is great. Then I have a module on an example of a tutorial I've created. And something it seems to me is that whoever creates the tool should not create the tutorial on how to use it. Um, although some people are very persistent and they can learn a tool without a tutorial, but most students are, and they need a really good step-by-step tutorial to get them out of their own way. Now, I have a block on open-ended assignments, and one of the slides I talk about Mark Thorin, where he was complaining that about how schools can't possibly teach things in a practical way, but it can be taught. And in that module, I'll show you how it's possible. And then the final module is trying to assess creativity. And here we have an electrical engineer trying to talk about painting. And my wife and I certainly do like the impressionistic style. Not that I could be totally wrong that he's an impressionist, but that fuzzy style certainly looks impressionist to me. So the thing is you're trying to predict who will be great. A lot of Van Gogh's contemporaries thought he was no good. And it certainly looks like this painting, The Cedars of Lebanon, took more effort than Starry Night over the Rhone. Anyway, the reality is that the alligators are kind of cute and we need to help them. And by teaching in a flipped classroom model, even though it can be a little crazy, it really is rewarding. You're not just up in the front of the class like an automaton. You essentially spend most of your time helping the students rather than talking at them, and it was worth it.